Hey guys, my name is Carlos Tobon, as most of you already know. I am a Storm staffer, also staffer with Turbo, and today I wanted to bring to you guys a little bit of a different video. Doing a review on the Idol Cosmos, which is the latest release for Roto Grip. And with me, I wanted to bring on board somebody that is my friend, but also a very accomplished bowler. His name is Jeff Piroozshad. Hi, Jeff. And the way we're going to do this video, it's a little different. I wanted to mix it up a little bit. We're going to actually be throwing the exact same ball. Yes, the exact same ball. He has a thumb that actually fits my equipment, and the spans are not too far off. It's good enough for him to throw it. And since we both throw it a little bit differently, he has a little bit more speed dominance on his style, a little bit softer. You'll be able to see the exact same ball thrown two different ways, but we're going to make it a little bit more competitive. We actually decided to do a little competition, and the first to get to 4 strikes wins. And the way it works is if we both strikes, nobody gets a point. If one of us strikes and the other one doesn't, then that person gets the point.
So we're starting off with the Idol Cosmos. You can see the layout on the screen up here. It's a 4 3/4 by 4 by 1.5. So the pin to PAP is 4 3/4 inches. Right. The mass bias, or where it would be, it's a symmetrical ball. But so you go 6 3/4 from the pin and through the CG, and then that to the PAP is 4 inches, and then the pin buffer from the pin to the vertical axis line is 1.5 inches.
Correct.
And for both of us, it's a pin high layout. You can see the line where the finger would be. So the pin is up pretty high. It's just to the right of the center line. And that's going to make the ball flare a bunch. And it should give it a nice movement in the back. This is a layout that I've actually started using a lot lately. So it gives me some good movement in the back. And that's something I like because I do have a lot of speed, as
Correct.
you said. I like to play a little straighter and just unload on the ball, really. You like to stand further left than me and kind of slow hook it a little more. So we're going to use the same ball. I actually tease Carlos a lot that I bet I could beat you with your own bowling ball. So we're here to find out. I know people who have seen this on my YouTube channel have seen we've done a couple of these already before. We did one with a Nova and one with the Spectre. And we went 1-1. And if I remember, you won with the Nova, and I won with the Spectre. So I won with the lower dynamic ball, and you won with the stronger ball. So do you think there was any reason for that between our two styles?
I think that part of the reason how that worked out is the environment where we actually did the testing. I think that center was a lot higher friction than this one. I think that house shot tends to play a little bit more blended, and I think that it is to the person's advantage in that center to throw a little bit harder. And obviously that's in your wheelhouse, so the ball that has cleaner cover and a little bit lower dynamics, it's going to help you more because it's going to retain a little bit more energy. Au contraire, when I was throwing the bigger ball, I was standing a little bit further left, and I'm able to actually kind of get it cleaner off my hand and trust the ball to do what it needs to do in the back part of the lane. I think that's why it worked out that way.
Okay, well, let's start this up. I'm going to hit play on the video. We actually filmed this a couple of days ago, so Carlos and I both already know who won, but we're not going to spoil it. So it looks like I'm starting, and as you can see, I throw the ball pretty hard. I got it a little left of where I wanted to, and I thought it hit good. This is a Green Acres Bowl in Green Acres in South Florida. And I actually have never bowled on the house shot in this building. I've been coming here for tournaments and things. This is the first time I've ever thrown a ball on the house shot here. So I didn't really know what to expect. I know some people have told me that it is some pretty high volume. I didn't know how much dry there is to the right, how much volume there is to the left. No idea. So this is all a surprise to me. So I did not strike in the first frame, and you're going to try to strike with the mechanic walking down the walkway.
Yeah, a little distraction.
But you can see that you like to slow hook the ball a lot more than I do. And for you, it kind of did maybe the same thing that mine did, where it just didn't hit enough of the dry. For me, it was a little left of where I wanted it. And I think for you, it was just maybe the same thing. Maybe, yes. I'm not sure. You tell me.
I think on that first shot, I might have gotten the ball a little bit inside of target down lane. I think I projected it exactly in the area and vicinity of where I wanted to. But surprisingly enough, maybe because of the finish of the ball, remember This ball, it is a pro ball, but it has that 4K fast finish.
Is this the
It's
box
a little
surface
smoother.
on your
Yeah,
ball now?
it was
This is the box
completely
surface.
box surface.
Just a little bit of use and lane shine.
Yeah, just a hair of lane shine. So I think that's why the ball didn't finish as much as I expected it to.
Yeah, so you see I got that one a little more right, and it kind of hit the same way, but I was able to get the messenger to get the 10 out, which I didn't really expect because I don't use a lot of bowling balls that are with that kind of surface and that are very rolly, and expect to get a lot of pin action with it. I usually have to try to go high flush.
This core on this ball, generally speaking, has always been very rolly. The numbers on the ball are 249 RG, which is a pretty low RG for a symmetrical ball, and 052 differential. So what it's asking the ball to do is to pick up in the middle part of the lane, and it flares a little bit, especially on the layout that we put on it, but you can still see how the surface finish, it blends it out. It makes it really rolly in the back part of the lane, so it actually controls the pocket or the end of the pattern pretty good.
So your shot, it actually got more to the dry. It made a better finish, but it just didn't kick the 10 out, so guess what? That is a point for me. 1-0. So again, we're doing a race to 4. If we both strike, none of us gets a point. If neither of us strike, nobody gets a point. We don't compare. I got 9, you got 8, or
Nope.
You got 7, I got 3. You know, we don't care about that. Strike or nothing.
For sure.
So now we're up. It is 1-0, and now I'm trying to get it right, but I am awful, and I got it left.
Okay.
And so now I see there's a little bit of volume in the middle in this building.
For the typical house shots that we have in South Florida, this one actually has a high concentration of volume in the center and the body of the actual pattern. We both kind of realized that really quickly, especially with the ball. We kind of had to get it to the spot, otherwise the ball didn't really get into a roll early enough.
And as you can see, we're leaving the camera rolling. We're not editing any shots out or anything like that. You get to see every awful shot the two of us make.
Correct.
So now Carlos is up with a chance to tie it up. And on that one, it looks like you got it in more, but it mixed the 4-5-7
it was
out.
definitely in. It was a light mixer. I think that my lower speed and kind of heavier roll through the middle part of the lane, I think it bailed me out for sure. Best shot by all means.
So it is now 1-1. And so there have been 4 or 5 idols now. There was the purple one, then there was the blue pearl one,
Correct.
And then there was the Helios.
Actually,
right?
it's been 4 before this one. This is the 5th one. We've had
There was one before the Helios, right?
yeah, the Synergy.
The Synergy, that's right. Oh, I love the way that ball rolled.
Yeah.
I never threw it, but I love the way it rolled. So you see, this shot, I actually got it more out to the right.
Yeah.
I made sure to get it into that dry. I saw that bucket that I left, and I said, I'm not doing that again.
Right, and it's safe to say that this is your wheelhouse. You like to keep it kind of in front of you, but you can actually relax and let your speed kind of get it down the lane and trust the RGs and the numbers on the ball to get it to the pocket.
Yeah, I'm just going to pitch it into the dry, and I'm just going to try to rev it as much as I can and get it to hit the pocket as well as I can.
And I think this is very, very good for the viewers to understand that even though you may be more comfortable circling the lane, sometimes when you have a lot of wet dry, maybe just getting closer, standing closer to the friction, and just keep it in front of you with a nice firm loose tension-free swing is the best way to go.
You know, it was weird though, because there's volume in the middle and there's dry to the right, but I didn't really think of this as a wet dry. It didn't strike me like one of those, man, if I miss a half an inch left, that's going to bucket, and if I miss a half an inch right, it's going to hook too much. I didn't feel that way about this. This just seemed like a really good blended shot where you still had to get it to the right place, which I didn't do on that one. Again,
that one's in.
I still suck. Yeah.
But I do believe, and I want to give a little bit of credit to the guys at Storm HQ, because I think this 4K fast finish will do that.
Yes.
It will make the balls, especially the pro ones, feel a bit more blended. Before, where we had the 1500 polished finish on the bowling balls, they were very, very responsive off the dry, but they actually would wiggle or just hydroplane through the oil.
Yeah, if this ball was polished, I would probably be playing much more to the right, and I would probably feel like the reaction was a lot more sensitive to the dry.
I agree with that. I think that we both felt very comfortable getting into the dry. I think we're both making sure that it got there. Obviously, we didn't throw it, 100% all the time, but the ball definitely likes to see the friction, and it doesn't quit. It actually just smooths out, and just like that, I'm up 2-1.
God damn it! All right. So Now, what I was thinking at this time, from what I remember, is, excuse me, I just need to make sure that I get this ball right. I can't afford to get this ball left at all, because not so much for the ball, but it was just there's so much volume in the middle that I wanted to make sure that I got it to the dry. And if I got it to the dry, the ball read the pattern perfectly. But with my ball speed, even though the ball is dull and has some surface on it, with my ball speed, it doesn't matter what I'm throwing. So you see that one, I got it right. It read in the right place and it hit with power. But
very continuous too. I like how it read properly, but it continued through the pins.
Yeah,
for
but
sure.
if I with my ball speed, the ball could be 220 grit, and if I miss left, it's going straight.
Yeah, right, absolutely. That's
So
something to
need
keep
to make
in mind.
sure that I needed to make sure I didn't do that. What were you thinking when you were bowling? What you needed to do?
The first thing that obviously for these type of videos, I was in my mind comparing it to my idle Helios. I practice on these lanes quite a bit, and I noticed how much cleaner through the middle part of the lane this ball is compared to the Helios. I had it about 3 to 4 feet longer, and obviously just as continuous, but because it's making its turn a little later down the lane, it just seems like it's a little smoother. The Helios likes to read the friction or the middle part of the lane earlier, thus making it more angular on the entry angle.
Okay, so we both struck. So it's 2-2. And we will wait for the next one.
Is it 2-2 or is it?
No, I'm sorry. It's still 2-1.
Yeah.
It's still 2-1. I'm sorry.
At this point, what I was starting to feel was that there was a little bit of a hook spot at the ball. For me, was starting to check up a little bit earlier, but I wasn't comfortable enough on the fact that it would hook from there for me to move yet. I was still trying to float it and make sure I get it to the spot. If you notice, my last strike was just very, very light. But obviously, if it strikes, I'm just going to stay there. I'm just got to throw it good, right?
Right. And my strikes are pretty flush now.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I found that hook spot where I want to get the ball to, and I'm just banking it off of it. And the reaction is really good. Like you said, it's pretty continuous.
Yeah. Something that I've been working a lot more on, as you know, lately, is for me to trust my lines and make sure that I just execute the best shot possible. Because often enough in the past, I would actually move faster than I'm doing now, and it would cause me to lose the pocket or struggle for a few frames before I would find it again. So obviously that, to me, that was a little bit of a bad break. I think that I was starting to feel like the ball wanted to pick up a little bit too soon. Maybe I could have just used a little bit more speed and would held this line, but just like that, it's 2-2.
See, and it's interesting for me, where your ball you thought was trying to pick up too soon. For me, with my ball speed, I thought the ball was just picking up perfectly in the right place. So I'm feeling like I'm lined in right now, and that you're going to have to move a little left or do something. So I just need to keep throwing it good. And for me, the ball's rolling really great now. Now that I've figured out where to play with it.
It is definitely a testament, and I think most bowlers feel this, that whenever you're matching up really well with the condition, you can actually relax and make better shots because you're not thinking so much. For me, at this point, I was feeling like there was a little bit more of a transition. So I'm already probably expecting a move, but I wasn't sure that the move was warranted. So the execution probably could have been better. Like I said, I could have picked up a little bit more speed, but I was definitely already feeling like I had to make a move.
And just like that, it's now 3-2 me.
Correct. And it's a reflection of what we're thinking, right? I was feeling like I wasn't entirely comfortable, and you were in your wheelhouse, and just like that, you flipped the match from 2-1 to 3-2.
And again, for people who aren't aware, this isn't me throwing my idle Cosmos and Carlos throwing his idle Cosmos. I'm throwing his idle Cosmos also.
Correct.
Our spans are pretty close. Our pitches are pretty close. All he had to do was drill me a turbo switch grip that fits my thumb and my pitch. So after every shot, we're just taking the thumb out of the ball and putting the other one in.
Correct.
Back and forth. And look at that, I rolled the 2 pins.
I can't believe you did that. This is where I wish we had some magic in deleting some of this footage, but obviously we're going to leave everything on. But I just want to see, I want people to see that you are lucky sometimes. As much as you say you're not.
Once a year I am lucky. So that was mine for this year.
Yeah, I wasn't feeling very good about this. At this point, I was a little bitter about that, but that's our competitive juices, right?
So you need this one to tie it up.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't remember what happened at all now.
No,
Oh, you did
I
time
felt
it.
yeah. I was pretty confident at that point because I just didn't like the way you rolled the 2-pin, but I wasn't gonna fall further behind.
I was hoping that I would win it on that one.
Yes, I remember it's a race to 4. So if I fail to strike and Jeff strikes on the next one, then he wins this competition. What did you think of the ball the more you got to throw it?
I realized that because the layout is very strong, if I tried to hook it too much, the ball might just flare a little too much. So you can see now I'm trying to just hook it a little less, but put it into the dry a lot more. Even though I get a lot on the ball, there's no reason that I had to over rev the ball to get it to hook. I keep in mind again, I had never thrown this ball before.
Right.
I had never balled this house shot before. I didn't really know what to expect, but the more comfortable I got, the more I realized that I can just take this ball and float it out to the dry a little more, and it'll hook back with plenty of power. I didn't feel like I had to give it the power myself.
Correct.
So you can see now I'm starting to get a little more to the right, putting a little less on it, and it's still coming back with a lot of power.
I can definitely see myself throwing this ball more on patterns. I think that I need a little bit more of a defined hook spot down lane where it allows me to get comfortable. Got lucky in that one. For sure, I got it a little in because I'm just afraid that the ball is going to check up. I left the 9-pin on the last time I didn't strike. So I'm just almost not afraid, but I'm trying to make sure that I don't get it to the dry too quick. But going back to what I was saying, I definitely see myself using this ball a little bit more on sport pattern just because there's more of a defined hook spot after the end of the oil. On house shots, I think that this ball, it would be better for me on more wet dry when they're a little bit burned early and I can actually circle it a bit more.
Do you remember when you left that 9-pin, if you moved your feet at all?
Yeah, I think I went 1-on-1 instinctively, but it wasn't enough for me to get comfortable still. I think that I'm trying to fabricate a little bit of the shape, and I can see it, looking at the video again, where I'm trying to project it to an area, obviously because it's a house shot, but I'm not. When I got it there too early, it overhooked, and when I try to just float it and keep it a little bit more in front of me, it doesn't finish. So that's why I'm saying I can see definitely myself throwing this more on a pattern where we have a little bit more help from the back part of the lane, and I can definitely see this ball on your back for you because I think it really matches up with the surface and with the numbers of the ball. Typically, you've liked some of the idles. That core actually rolls good for you.
And that one, I 10-pinned and you struck, so now it's tied at 3. So next point's going to win. That 10-pin I left, I got it in, but whereas before I got it in, I bucketed. Now I'm a little to the right of that, so I get it in. I'm just leaving a 10-pin. And if I'm making a mistake and leaving a 10-pin, I'm pretty happy with that.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair for competition. I think that as bowlers, the harder the patterns or the higher the scoring paces or the harder the lanes actually get. We're trying to look for that, right? Our mistakes to leave something makeable.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. You don't want to leave buckets, especially on tournament shots.
If every time you miss, you're getting 5 or 6, it makes for a long day. And you can see how comfortable you are now. Yeah. For sure.
Yeah, I think maybe even what I did on that, I left the 10-pin, but I think I still moved a little left and just got on it a little more. That way, this gives me room to the right and room to the left. Whereas before, I was in the right place, and if I miss left, I get a 10-pin. Now, if I miss right, I strike, and if I miss left, I strike. Because that one, I think I got a little in where I wanted it. So now I've got miss room both directions, and that's going to be tough to beat.
Yeah, no, for sure. For sure. You can definitely see from the quality of the shots, the projection on the line of play, for me, was a little bit more inconsistent. And to me, it was just a matter of uncertainty of how far down the lane to the right I need to get it and how quickly. Because every time I kind of missed in, it mixed, or sometimes it didn't. And sometimes it got there and it just didn't strike. So you win this time. I think that it was fair. I think going into this, when I proposed this to you, I felt like this ball was going to match up a lot better with you, and I think that that's a result of it.
If you were to drill another one of these, how would you lay it out? Any differently?
Yes.
Based on what you've seen with this one?
I think that me putting a taller pin, and I only did that based on the fact that it was a pearl ball, right? So me putting the pin too high and the ball having the finish and the low RG that it has, it wants to do it too soon and too quick off the spot for me. I think that would go with a longer pin to pap, so I'll probably go to 5.25, and I may actually bring that pin a little bit closer to the fingers, or even pin down, and use it as a ball to still use it in the transition, but keep it more in front of me, kind of like what you were doing. So that would be the adjustment for me if I get to do it all over again. Try to look for the same reaction that you were getting, but by changing the numbers on the layout.
Okay. So now it looks like we've done this 3 times, and I've won twice.
Yep.
So hopefully, we'll do another one, and
for sure.
we'll see you next time.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Thanks again, everybody. Anybody you want to thank?
Yes, I would like to thank Ralph and Storm. I would like to thank Carolyn Dornballer and Turbo. Also Cool Week, and obviously Green Acres Bowl. They do everything that they can for us to bring all these to the boulders, and I hope to see you guys at some point. Stop by and say hi.
All right. So we'll see you guys next time. Thanks a bunch.